Welcome back to the deep dive.
Your essential shortcut to being well-informed.
Exactly. Now, before we really tear into today's sources, I have a quick directive. If you are serious about mastering the detailed mechanics of grant proposals, we really, really recommend visiting grants.courses. They are the place for educational videos, including foundational courses like Proposal Writing 101, just indispensable resources to elevate your skills right away.
A fantastic resource.
So today, let's talk about the backbone of any successful nonprofit, securing funding. We're doing a deep dive into the fundamentals of grant proposal writing.
And this is absolutely critical knowledge.
For staff, for volunteers, especially when you're trying to launch that essential new program or maybe expand your services, our mission today is to just distill the core, non-negotiable basics of grant acquisition from all the noise out there.
And that distillation is so necessary.
Yeah.
Because while grants are, available to fund just about any worthwhile goal.
Right, from operations to capital campaigns. Exactly. But they're not handed out lightly. The source material really emphasizes that mastering these basics has to be a top strategic priority for sustaining a mission. Success demands, well, a lot more than just identifying a need. It requires a highly strategic approach.
Agreed. And we're going to outline that three-part strategy right now. This is where we start building value for you. It's about, first, efficiently locating the right funder.
The aligned funder.
Yes. Then, proactively investing time in a relationship building before you even ask. And then finally, writing a compelling proposal that tells a true story, but a story supported by rigorous data. Okay, let's unpack this. We have to start with a massive strategic hurdle, which is basically avoiding the pitfall of wasted effort. You have to start by asking the most efficient question possible. Is this the right funder for my mission right now?
It sounds like common sense, doesn't it? But the field of choices is it's vast. And it's complex. We're not just talking about the big national foundations.
No, grant opportunities come from governmental entities, which, by the way, usually involve really complex compliance.
Yeah.
Then you have private foundations, large corporations with their own charitable arms, labor unions, and even smaller, regional social organizations. The sheer variety means the potential for misalignment is it's enormous.
And the cost of that misalignment is so much greater than just the frustration of getting a no.
Right.
The sources actually calculate this in staff hours. Imagine spending, say, 40 hours of your senior staff's time crafting a perfect, bespoke application. And it gets rejected because, buried deep in their criteria, they only award grants in 3 specific zip codes, and you're in a 4th. That time is a direct drain on your core mission.
That's the strategic cost right there. So to avoid that, you have to treat funder research almost like forensic science.
I like that.
Every single funder has its own clues and cues, checklists, and processes. You have to search their past giving records, their 990 tax forms, their mission statements. You look at everything to ensure a perfect fit before you commit major resources.
So you're looking for a unique signature.
Yes, a signature to ensure they are the best prospect, not just a prospect.
That distinction is so crucial. It's all about focusing your, limited nonprofit resources on the few opportunities where your mission and their mandate just perfectly overlap.
Yeah.
If their past giving shows zero interest in environmental education, sending them your brilliant environmental proposal is it's a predictable waste of time.
Exactly. You're trying to find their historical bias, and then you design your entire approach to align perfectly with it. And that leads us right to what I think is the most important psychological insight in all of the source material. We need to talk about the mindset shift.
Okay.
Here's the key takeaway, and it's a big one. No funder wants to look like a bank's automated teller machine, an ATM.
I love that analogy. Yeah. It means they don't want you just showing up when you need cash, making a cold transaction and expecting money to pop out.
Precisely. They are risk managers. They're investors, not just, charitable donors. They're looking for long-term partners who share a common purpose.
A cold application can work sometimes?
It can, yes, but developing a working relationship significantly improves your odds. It signals that you view them as a partner, not just a funding source. So the question is, how do you build them? How do you do that tactically before you submit the proposal?
Well, the sources provide some fantastic, really actionable methods for this, for developing that working relationship.
Okay, let's hear them.
It all starts with networking, leveraging your existing sphere of influence. First, use LinkedIn. It is the modern-day warm introduction. Search your network for connections who might work for or serve on the board of the funder you're targeting. A simple intro, a short informational call from a mutual connection, that can open the door.
And that's such an efficient use of your resources. If you can get just a 15-minute conversation to discuss mission alignment with someone inside that funding body, well, your proposal is no longer just a piece of paper in a giant stack.
Right. And beyond digital networking, you have to show up in shared spaces.
Be present.
Exactly. This means actively seeking out and attending funder workshops, which are often free, and those meet the funder panels that you see at conferences.
Which are less about pitching your idea on the spot.
Right. It's more about listening to their priorities and just signaling your organization's professionalism.
And I appreciate that the material suggests a broader view of engagement, too. It says to check if the funders are members of community organizations whose events you might already attend.
It's about making that connection in a non-transactional environment.
Yes. Seeing them as part of the community ecosystem, not just as, gatekeepers of money.
And here's a tactic that it requires a little bit of strategic humility.
Yeah.
Asking your fellow nonprofits. If a peer organization successfully got a grant from a funder you're targeting, reach out to them. I can almost hear the listener thinking, wait, isn't that asking for a cheat sheet? Is that common practice?
It's actually high-level strategy.
Yeah.
It's not about getting the answers to the application questions.
Okay.
It's about understanding the funder's unwritten rules. Your peers can tell you, hey, they really value brevity, or they require you to follow up with a phone call exactly 2 weeks after you submit.
That kind of information is gold.
It is, because it reveals the funder's culture and helps you tailor your approach perfectly. And that is the ultimate goal of developing that relationship. So once you've done the research, you've started cultivating that relationship. Now we turn to the proposal itself. The source material synthesizes the absolute non-negotiable elements.
The must-haves.
The must-haves.
That's right.
A strong proposal has to state 4 key things in, and I quote, no-nonsense terms. First, the problem. Second, your specific solution. Third, the quantifiable outcomes you expect.
And of course, the budget, timeline, and a measurement plan.
A robust measurement plan, yes.
Okay, that sounds like a very rigorous checklist, and it's clearly necessary for accountability. But if every nonprofit is following that same checklist, how do you make your proposal stand out from the hundreds of others on a funder's desk?
That's where the art comes in. The most effective technique isn't just compiling data. It's about weaving that checklist into a powerful narrative.
A story.
An effective proposal has to tell a story. The narrative is what separates a data dump from a truly compelling investment opportunity.
So we're blending that emotional resonance with the quantifiable proof. How do we tactically do that?
You have to support the narrative with both quantitative and qualitative examples that make the work real.
Okay, give me an example.
Let's take the problem statement.
Yeah.
You need the hard data, for instance. Stats show 30% of children in the West End community lack adequate internet access for homework.
That's the quantitative need.
That's the quantitative. The qualitative side is the immediate follow-up.
You have to show the human impact of that number.
Exactly. You pivot immediately to something like, this means that students, like 8-year-old Maya, are forced to do complex assignments in the poorly lit laundromat down the street because it's the only place with open Wi-Fi.
Wow.
That connection, the macro stat, followed by that specific, unforgettable micro anecdote, that's what engages the reviewer. It demonstrates urgency.
That contrast works brilliantly. And let's go back to one of those non-negotiables you mentioned, the measurement plan. This is often the section that nonprofits struggle with the most. So what does a robust measurement plan actually look like?
It needs to be clear, transparent, and aligned with your stated outcomes. It's not enough to say, we will help people.
Right, too vague.
You need to define how success will be tracked. Will you use pre- and post surveys? Will you monitor service uptake rates over 6 months? Maybe you're using qualitative interviews to gather feedback. The measurement plan proves to the funder that their money is accountable. It shows the value of an investment.
So they're investing in a verified solution, not just a hopeful experiment.
That's it exactly. All right, now we need to address that mindset shift again, because seeking grant awards is intensely competitive. A nonprofit absolutely won't win every time, and they cannot afford to lose hope after an initial rejection.
That competitive reality makes persistence, when you view it as a strategy, absolutely critical. What the sources emphasize is that every single attempt even the unsuccessful ones, teaches you valuable lessons.
Yes.
If you treat rejection as tuition, you always gain something.
And the greatest gain you can get is feedback. Getting direct feedback from funders is invaluable, even if it's, a little painful to hear. It helps you craft future proposals more precisely. It greatly improves your chances of success.
Yeah.
I remember reading about a major health nonprofit. Their first 15 grant applications were rejected.
15? Why?
15. But the critical difference was they asked for detailed feedback on every single one. That iterative process is the definition of turning failure into future success.
That's a powerful story of strategic learning, and this connects to the broader scope of advanced knowledge that's out there. The basics get you in the door, but continuous improvement requires specific technical skills. For example, the sources strongly point to utilizing SMART objectives to elevate proposals. We can't just mention that without defining it.
You're right, we can't. SMART is an acronym. It provides structure to your goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
It's the difference between a weak goal and a fundable one.
It really is.
Can you give us a quick example of that contrast?
Sure, a non-SMART goal would be, we want to improve literacy in middle school students. It's vague.
Right?
A SMART objective is, we will increase the reading proficiency level of 75 students in the 7th grade cohort by 15% within 9 months, as measured by the standardized state literacy assessment.
It's so much more credible.
That specific, measurable statement drastically increases your credibility and makes the funder's decision easier.
And there are specific modules of learning that address these common failure points too, like understanding the 5 common grant seeker mistakes and how to fix them, and really mastering the entire grant development process.
Ultimately, the source material is underscoring a fundamental strategic necessity here. Nonprofits cannot sustain or advance their mission without treating the art of seeking grants as a core operational skill.
Not just some auxiliary function. It requires management, resources, and continuous learning.
Absolutely. Hashtag tag outro.
So let's wrap up this deep dive with a summary of the path to success. You really need to focus on alignment, identifying the few perfect grants from the many. That's followed by partnership, building those crucial relationships so you never look like just an ATM customer.
Right.
And finally, you have to write winning proposals by seamlessly balancing that narrative storytelling with rigorous, measurable data.
And if we connect this whole strategy to the bigger picture, it raises a really important question for you, the listener, to think about. If feedback is the key to strategic persistence, how critical is the proactive search for funder feedback? Not just to improve the specific proposal you just submitted, but to fundamentally shape the future strategy, programs, and mission of your entire organization.
Is that feedback currently driving where you go next? That is the ultimate strategic consideration. And if you're ready to take that next step and deepen your knowledge, whether it's mastering Proposal Writing 101 or learning how to define those SMART objectives, the resources are waiting for you.
Visit grants.courses today to find everything you need to start elevating your proposal game